Just wanted to talk, that's all.
It's just a reaction.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Pinstripe Territory, presented by Fox One. Start your 7-day free trial at fox1.com. I am here with the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Frankie Baseball. And the reason why he is a legend is because Frankie stayed up to watch Game 3. We were going to do a post-game last night. I had the bright idea of let's do a show at 11 p.m. Game didn't end till like 3 o'clock in the morning, Frankie. I got a text from you. I woke up at 6:50 this morning to go to work, and I'm getting ready to hop in the shower, and I remember that there was a World Series game that was tied when I went to sleep at midnight. And I look at my phone to see who won, and the first thing I see is a text from Frankie that says they're still playing, and I see it's 2:24 in the morning. So, Frankie, tell me about your night. Frankie, you're muted. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. I had you muted, Frankie. Go ahead.
Okay, that's great. Well, hello, Derek. It was a long night for all of us. I'm tired, but ready to go. We were already talking heading into the game, or when the time we did the show, around the ninth inning, we were saying, like, this is a classic World Series game. And that was just the first half of it. Amazing to think there was a whole another half. And this game definitely slowed down. The bullpens really, it is amazing to me that two awful bullpens, I think we all agreed on, were pretty terrible heading into this postseason, were the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. And yet they were like just pitching absolutely lights. I couldn't tell if it was the bullpens being that lights out or if it was the offense is just completely shutting down. It was weird. But yeah, from the 10th inning on, the bullpens were just toying with the offenses at will. You had Kershaw come in there in the 12th, and that made for a great moment there, getting out of the bases loaded jam. And then it was the second longest second longest World Series game by time, tied for the longest by innings, because in the bottom of the 18th with no outs, Freddie Freeman does what he did last year to us. The man just has a knack for doing it in October in the World Series. Hits that home run deep center. It didn't look like it was going to go out at first. I think people were kind of skeptical. They thought it was going to die at the wall, but somehow it went over. And the Dodgers, with a monumental win Game 3. And to me, I think they won the series. I maybe it's too early to say, but that's just the kind of loss. I don't know if you're the Blue Jays. I don't know how you bounce back from that. That is such a crippling loss to come back when you're that close. You have multiple chances to win the game, and then the Dodgers win it in the 18th. You use up a lot of your bullpen. It's going to be very difficult for me to see how Toronto is able to bounce back. But what a great game. It was an honor to be able to watch that and cover that for Foul Territory and just watch it as a baseball fan. It was a real delight.
I was astonished to see the result. And Frankie, let's see if you can zoom a little bit closer. I don't think we can quite see the pores of your skin. So here's the few things I was blown away by. Yamamoto was going to warm up, or he was warming up to go in the game after throwing a complete game, which is just absurd to me. And that's the kind of guy I wish we had on our team. And it got me thinking about the alternate universe, which we'll talk in a second, where the Yankees could have had Ohtani, they could have had Yamamoto. They tried to get both these guys, but the other thing that I want to talk about was how often Ohtani was on base. He was on base 9 times. He kept getting intentionally walked. We got a phone call about this from Steve from Italy, who always has awesome takes. So I'm going to play it, and then we can get your response.
Hey, Derek, this is Steven from Italy. I'm calling because I'm listening to Michael Kay on Tuesday talking about the 18-inning World Series game. And he's going on a point that he's brought up before about intentional walks, right? That you're taking the best player in the game out at the most crucial moment. And I understand what he's saying, and I even can see that there's a point there. But I think because he says in no other sport can you take out the most important player on the field at the crucial point. But I think he's missing something, which is that very rarely do you see somebody throw at the head or even hit in the head the Aaron Judges or Shohei Ohtani's, and the reason is you can intentionally walk them. So, right? But in football, you see concussions of quarterbacks all the time because you can intentionally walk the quarterback. So I'm afraid that if you got rid of intentional walks or limited them, we might start seeing, the great hitters in the game start getting thrown at to take them out. Maybe I'm remembering, I'm 65 now, I'm a year older than Michael Kay. Maybe I'm remembering how baseball used to be, and maybe it's become more civilized. I don't know. And anyway, that's just my thought on that subject.
So yeah, appreciate the call, Steve from Italy. I listened to the Michael K piece after I got that call, and I was thinking about it. Intentional walks do suck. They do suck, but I don't think that you would start seeing guys get thrown at more. I think you would just see like bad pitches. I think you would just see like guys. I mean, what's to stop somebody from just throwing a ball in the dirt, right? Or up and away, like in really, really high. You know, I don't think that you would necessarily see guys get maliciously thrown at, especially at the head. I mean, just if people start throwing at Ohtani's head, I mean, baseball would hand out suspensions like you wouldn't believe, or Judge for that matter, or any other big stars. But I do think that the intentional walk does suck. So maybe this, you know, we've changed the rules enough to where we can make a little tweak. Like, we got a ghost runner at second base to begin extra innings during the season. I mean, we're going to have automated balls and strikes for, you know, occasionally next year. How about this? One intentional walk per game from a that way, you know, if Judge is coming up with a runner on second and one out in the ninth inning, right? And you got Stanton on deck. Okay, maybe it does make sense to walk Judge in that spot and set up the double play. But you will have to have saved that. You can't walk him with, you know, nobody on in the fourth inning like the Jays did, you know, earlier this year. So give me your thoughts on that.
First of all, watching the game last night and seeing Schneider intentionally walk Ohtani over and over again, I'm thinking, like, we've all seen this. As Yankee fans, we've seen him use this with Judge so many times just to – so this wasn't surprising to me at all. I thought the same thing you did when they were talking about banning the intentional walk. I'm thinking – if this happens, you're not like Schneider all of a sudden is going to be like, you know what? In this instance, I am going to pitch to Ohtani. No, it's going to be more like bad pitches, and it's going to be what intentional walk used to be, which was, you know, back in my day, intentional walk, you actually had to throw all 4 balls for the intentional walk, and it really dragged the game down.
Somebody would occasionally throw one over the catcher.
Yeah, I remember one time there was a guy who like tried to intentionally walk it. I forget who it was, but he mistimed it, and the guy like hit a single up the center. I got to find that highlight, but it's one of my favorite highlights out there. It was like 05, 06 or something like that. But yeah, I think banning the intentional walk is not going to fix that. I do like the idea of maybe one intentional walk a game. I think it does add some strategy to it. But like I said, we're going to end up with just more fake intentional walks. And I appreciate the transparency of it as opposed to, you know, some guys hiding behind. And even the last at bat they finally decided not to intentionally walk Ohtani, but they threw like 4 balls. So it was kind of like intentionally walking him, but not really. So I'd rather just the honesty of, yeah, we're sending you on your way. We'll bring the next guy up. It speeds the game up. So I'd rather have that than any banning of the intentional walk. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's how I would keep it the way it is.
All right, so let's talk about the alternate Ohtani-verse, because the Yankees were in on him, and in fact, they were considered a favorite when he was originally a free agent as a youngster. And you remember they pivoted. I believe they got Giancarlo Stanton that winter. I'm not 100% sure that he would still be in New York even if he had signed with the Yankees, because he's had he had that massive free agent thing, and I don't know if that Hal Steinbrenner would have gone to $700 million even if they liked him at that point, right? I mean, I think that he would have cheaped out at that, but maybe. I mean, he went pretty high for Juan Soto, so I could be wrong there. But I'm just thinking, like, how many championships would we have won by this point if Ohtani had picked the Yankees? I think we would have definitely won it in 22. Ohtani and Judge on the same. I mean, we might have won 115 games. You know, I think this year we probably would have gotten by the Jays with Ohtani and Judge on the same team. I mean, the way that changed the baseball universe for the Yankees, wanting Ohtani so bad and not getting him. And I'm sure there's other teams that are lamenting that they didn't get him also. But the fact that the Yankees were so heavily linked to the point where, like, I personally was doing like a Shohei Ohtani build on MLB The Show where I was playing through his MLB career as a Yankee, by the way, and I had to have 2 of them because he was a pitcher and a hitter, so you had to have like a duplicate version, which was weird. So it was anyway. I just I imagine what the world would have been like. You think we'd have a couple more chips if he had chosen New York, and by that extension, he would have a couple of more chips.
To quote LeBron James, not 4, not 5, not 6. Not you. It would have been. It's hard to not see Ohtani being on this team, and for the Yankees to not be a potential dynasty. I never really, from my recollections in 2018, or from everything I've heard afterwards, it seems like Ohtani, while the Yankees wanted him, it seems like he was never interested in living in New York. For some reason, he preferred the LA lifestyle. So, I mean, it ended up working out well for him, but it is a bummer that he wouldn't have, that for whatever reason, he just was never interested in New York. And again, as you mentioned the second time, when we had a chance to go after him, get him, and I don't feel like he was really linked back in 2023. I don't feel like he was,
Right.
the Dodgers and the Blue Jays were like the main, although to be fair, the Blue Jays, that may have been, but it seemed like he was always going to go to the Dodgers. He just likes it out there. He likes the West Coast living. But yeah, I can't imagine that if we don't have Ohtani out there, that this team is, I much rather would have preferred Ohtani over Stanton the last 6-7 years. It's also crazy because remember, Ohtani was struggling out of the game. Remember the first spring training he came up, he was awful. That's when Francesa made the legendary take about, the Yankees are lucky they didn't get Ohtani, which ended up being right on the money.
It's a pretty bad take. And for the GOAT, it's a pretty bad take.
Horrendous. And then he was, I never said that. And then he was injury prone the next few years. And then it wasn't until 2021 that he finally got his act together and he started to be healthy, and he ripped off this incredible 5-year run that if it wasn't for Judge hitting 62, he would have had 5 MVPs in a row. So it is, it's quite remarkable what this man has been able to do. But I do lament, even though Stanton has been for the most part great for us, Judge, Ohtani on the same team, and then Judge, Ohtani, and maybe Soto for 1 year. That would have been
insane. I doubt they would have got him, but who knows?
Yeah, fair.
So,
Fair point.
International stars. I feel like the Yankees haven't had an international star since Tanaka, really. I mean, they used to be in on everybody. I mean, back in the 90s, you got Irabu, and obviously he didn't end up working out. Like, he didn't end up working out in the colloquial sense of, he didn't play well, but also I don't think he worked out very much. But also, he ended up being a little bit of just a misfit. He didn't work out well with the rest in peace, Hideki. But then, Hideki Matsui ended up being fantastic when they brought him over. Tanaka ended up being fantastic. Kayagawa, not so much. Jose Contreras, the one who earned them the nickname the Evil Empire. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this story, but when the Red Sox and Yankees were both going after Jose Contreras, the Yankees rented out every hotel, like on the island, like on that in that country, basically, so that Contreras couldn't meet with the Red Sox or whatever, and they still ended up meeting, at some point. Or no, you know what? I've got it backwards. The Red Sox rented out every hotel room on the island so he couldn't meet with the Yankees, and the Yankees still won, and that's when they got coined the Evil Empire. That's what it was. But Contreras didn't end up being that great. He did win a World Series in 2005 with the White Sox. Yankees had El Duque in 98. They also had Little Duque. A lot of people don't remember this guy, Adrian Hernandez, who only pitched for the Yankees a couple of times, but had a very similar leg kick. I think it's time, Frankie, that the Yankees get back into the international market, and more specific, if the Dodgers are going to get everybody from Japan, I think the Yankees need to start going after Cuba. I think they, because it's much closer. It's it's a short trip, to Florida where he can visit the other people who have from his family who have come over, and nobody wants to play in Florida. Let's be honest. There's no good, Marlins stink. The Rays stink. If you're going to play on the East Coast for a star team, you're an international star, you're going to play for the Yankees. I think the Yankees need to make, Cuba once again theirs. Thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, that was a funny statement that you made of just thinking back to it now. The Red Sox and Yankees were in a bidding war for Jose Contreras. That's just such a funny thing to imagine back then. Also, I might get this wrong, and the comments section could correct me. Where is Aroldis Chapman from? Because is he from Cuba or no?
Oh yeah, he's from Cuba, but he went. They didn't get him out of Cuba. You know what I mean? Like when I say get an international star, I mean they also had Hiroki Kuroda, right? But when I say get an international star, I mean somebody coming to the major leagues, like debuting as a rookie, like Murakami would fit that mold. But I don't want the Yankees to get Murakami. Seiya Suzuki was somebody that I was very interested in. Jung-Hoo Lee was somebody that I was very interested in, and they went to other teams. The guy for the Red Sox now, not Matsuzaka, I forget his name, the left-handed hitting outfielder, I forget his name, but I think it's time the Yankees get back in the market.
No, absolutely. I was actually just thinking, you know what? Dodgers have all these Japan stars. Why not? You can go out there and get one or two of these guys. The Dodgers can't have all of them. I'm sorry, LA. You can have there has to be a limit. There has to be a cap.
Yoshida.
That should
Masataka Yoshida. I'm sorry.
There should be one cap going on. The cap that should be discussed is the Dodgers cap on acquiring Japan players. You got to let us have some, okay? Let us have one of these guys from there. But yeah, international stars, you get a whole new fan base out of it. I mean, think about how, back to the Dodgers, how successful it's been for them to bring over, how much money having Ohtani and Sasaki and Yamamoto, how profitable it's been for them. So yeah, the Yankees should absolutely, Cuba, anyone from over there is great. My favorite international star the Yankees have had, it's probably either a tie between Matsui, because he was the guy that I had when he was growing up, and of course the capstone to his Yankee career, that great 09 World Series that he had, and then Tanaka. Just how many times was that guy so reliable for us for so many years? What a fun player to watch! What a great pitcher! And I know that eventually he had to go, but I miss him. I miss him so much. He was just such an electrifying that. What performance did he have? Game 5 of 2017. Was that
and
the
then
one that he was...
I think he also had Game 3 of the ALDS, where he turned the series. That was the Greg Bird home run game, where he was phenomenal. And then, of course, he was phenomenal basically throughout the rest of his postseason career with the Yankees. All right, so the game is starting. We got 2 outs in the top of the first inning, Ohtani on the mound. So I'm going to run a quick ad, and then Frankie and I are going to discuss how the Yankees get back to the World Series just to wrap things up, and then we'll let you watch the game. We started a little bit late, so I probably shouldn't compete directly with the World Series, but we'll see.
This episode of FT is brought to you by Huel. Cheers.
Cheers.
We got a new Huel edition here, the Daily Greens. I've got blueberry, lemon, and thyme. You've got?
I got myself peach and hibiscus. I love peach. This is delicious. Fuel for the go, man. And this is really good for your body. It's really good for your systems. Anything that has greens in it, especially from Huel, is pretty fantastic. This will get you going, a little energy, a little boost, and keep your insides feeling well too.
Yeah, developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians. Few vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. Only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, only 1 gram of sugar. That's the goods. Of course, we still love the Huel Black Edition. I got chocolate peanut butter. How you doing?
Strawberry banana is delicious.
Let's go. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with the exclusive code FOUL at Huel.com/foul. Use that code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show.
It's just a reaction.
I'm sorry, I muted myself once again. I found that when it comes out of that stupid wipe, it not that it's stupid. Thank you so much to Fox One for allowing us to watch Fox One today. But there's a bug with my software now where after a video it mutes me, and I figured that out last night and figured it out today, but I'm slow to react to it. So Ecamm Live, if you're watching, you got a bug in your new updated software, so we got to fix that. Okay, so Yankees got to get back to the World Series. What are your 2 moves that you're making to put us over the top this winter?
2 moves. Well, it would be fire Aaron Boone and fire Brian Cashman. Those would be
come on. Let's get some players.
I know. Let's see. Who would I bring in here? You give me some ideas first. Let me think of someone.
Well, I really like the idea of bringing Bellinger back, but I like the idea of Tucker and Bellinger. Okay, so that's interesting to me because I think Tucker gives you an extra offensive dimension. Now, the problem with that is it makes Dominguez expendable in the outfield unless you play Bellinger at first base and then Rice becomes your catcher. And then I think if you do all that, you become a little bit too left-handed. So you'd have to make some other moves. But those 2, bringing them both into the lineup next year, I think gives the Yankees a really, really good offense. They would need to supplement it with a right-handed bat. I've been advocating for trading Austin Wells to the Marlins to get Agustin Ramirez back, who was the guy the Yankees traded away for Jazz Chisholm. I think they would make that deal because I think that Wells probably will have a longer career as a catcher than Ramirez. He's physically, he's not. I mean, he's bigger. I just don't think he's gonna ages well behind the plate, but he can mash, and he hits right-handed. And I think if you platoon him basically with Ben Rice behind the plate, you've got basically a 35 to 45 home run catching duo that can hit, righties or lefties equally well. And you got Bellinger at first base, where he's a plus defender. You bring in Tucker, who at Yankee Stadium, who knows? If you hit him in front of Aaron Judge, he's going to be the same type of thing that it was with Ohtani, where he walks, with Soto, where he walks. I got stuck in the alternate universe for a minute there, Frankie. I gotta warp myself back into this reality. When Soto was hitting in front of Judge, he got more pitch. He still drew a lot of walks and got on base for Judge a lot, which allowed Judge to drive in a ton of runs. But he also got a lot of pitches to hit, and he got a lot of big hits with Judge behind him. I think if you can get and I might even do it like this. I might even, if Volpe comes back healthy, I might try and hit him. Shut up! Don't, Frankie. I might hit him leadoff and say, we don't even want you to hit 10 home runs this year. Become a slap hitter. Hey, work on that, and let him become the player he's supposed to be. And he might struggle for a bit, but he's going to get pitches to hitting in front of Tucker and Judge. This is an idiotic take, but it might just work, right? It might just work because you need a leadoff hitter. You could go Dominguez leadoff, and then he'd get more pitches to hit as well. And then as a switch hitter, as a righty, you put somebody else in there at leadoff spot. But I think that there's still problems to solve, but you get Tucker, you get Bellinger, and then you figure it out.
You know what? I like that idea about Tucker. That Volpe idea is so stupid it might work. Look, he's gonna come back anyway. You might as well see what he can do there. But this is definitely his last chance.
His best time in the major leagues was as a leadoff hitter the first part of 2023.
Yes.
Or 2024, excuse me.
Okay, yes, that's 20, whichever one it was. And then if you can get a good, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you can get a good deal for him, it would be a ridiculous price, and there's like almost no chance it happens. But if you can get a good deal for Skeens, you got to go out there and do it. But I just don't see. Or you know what, Skubal, is Skubal a free agent this year, or is he?
No, he's. They're talking about trading him. That's the wrong word to say. The internet is speculating that he might be traded because he's going to be in the last year of his contract, and the Tigers probably won't be able to sign him for the kind of deal. My biggest nightmare is that Skubal or Skeens goes to Boston and pairs with Garrett Crochet. That would be a problem.
And Boston already has so many good young guys.
And they got Roman Anthony, who's going to be an absolute star, man. He is kind of what I thought Dominguez was going to be.
He's who I thought Volpe would be. Like, he's just, Dominguez is, but yeah, he's amazing. They have so many good, young, talented players there in Boston. Then to add one of those two pitchers there would be just an absolute nightmare. But let's just hope that they stay at their respective teams for now.
Yeah. Well, Frankie, we're going to let everybody go watch the rest of the game. Frankie, thanks for doing this. Let's do it again tomorrow night. What do you say?
Sounds great. I'm here, man, and we might be here tomorrow. Yeah.
Maybe we'll go before the game, so that way we can watch the game on time. What do you think?
That might be smart. And, who knows? The way this game goes tonight, we might be here tomorrow for a series clinching game. I'm hoping Toronto can keep this interesting, but I just think that this was such a deflating loss yesterday. But we'll see what they do tonight. You never know in sports.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out NYYDesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.